Peoples, it is Saturday, February 10th, and I am here with your geopolitical news. Al Jazeera reports body of 6-year-old killed in deliberate Israeli fire found after 12 days. Relatives found body of Hin Rajab, who had begged rescuers to send help after being trapped by Israeli military fire. The body of a 6-year-old Palestinian girl, missing for 12 days after an Israeli tank targeted their family car in Gaza, has been found along with the bodies of two medics dispatched to look for them. Now, I really don't, I just turned on the news this morning and I just seen this story. And immediately I had to report on it. Now, obviously, this is a tragedy. Obviously, this is heartbreaking. There's not too much to say outside of what I just said. I really don't know what it's going to take for us as a people to realize that this conflict is grotesquely out of hand at this point. Because every time you turn on the news and you look at the casualty rate, there's stories like this. And as long as there continues to be stories like this, the world, the world will not rest. The world will never be at peace. In other geopolitical news, Al Jazeera reports overnight Russian drone attacks kill at least 7 in Ukraine's Kharkiv. 3 children among the dead, says official, as the Russian attack triggers fire and damages homes. Regional Governor Oleg said on Telegram on Saturday 3 children, aged 7, 4, and 6 months, were among the victims after the strikes hit at least 15 houses, causing large-scale fires. I just did a piece on Vladimir Putin. In an interview, the exclusive interview that was just done with Tucker Carlson. And although my sentiment in that video may seem to side with the argument and the information that was laid out by the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, this I cannot agree with. This I can never agree with. And so it's the same thing all around the world. I charge those and I hold those accountable, especially when children are involved. We have to come to a place in our minds where children are off limits. This is what I believe and I hold wholeheartedly. Children are completely off limits. And anytime that line is crossed, then I feel like the world, the world, all human beings must stand up against this. No matter where you are, all human beings must condemn this. And so, as I said, I've just covered a piece on the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and his exclusive interview that he just did with Tucker Carlson. And there's a lot of things that I totally agree with him on. This I do not. In other geopolitical news, Al Jazeera reports student killed in Senegal protests over election delay. Violent protests erupt after President Macky Sall postponed presidential elections by several months. Student has been killed in the Senegalese city of St. Louis during violent protests against the postponement of the presidential election. Clashes between security forces and protesters gripped Senegal's capital and other cities on Friday. The first widespread unrest over the delay of a vote that many fear could lead to protracted instability. So here's another situation that I can only imagine did not have to happen. You know, I'm not too privy on what's going on too many places inside the continent of Africa. You know, it's almost like a black box when it comes to certain places. If you don't know anyone that comes from some of these regions, if you don't have relatives that come from some of these regions, then the information, especially that's provided by the Western news media outlets, are very few. You understand? Like they show us certain information, but it's a lot of information that is not privy to the average American citizen. And so if you're not looking for these things, you will not find them. If you're not searching for information, then you will not become privy to certain things that's happening around the world. And so this event is triggered by the postponement of a presidential election. And I can only imagine that um, there's unrest because the people may feel that this was probably a calculated move. This was probably something that was done purposely so that there wouldn't be a change of power, so that there wouldn't be a regime change. And so, the police used tear gas and they made arrests in this situation. And they used it against the protesters of the opposition, of the opposing party. And so, like I said, these are protesters that want the president, the current president, probably want that individual out of office. And there's probably going to be a change if the voting process was allowed to happen. But strategically, the current president and the government postponed the elections. And so there's unrest. Of course, people are going to be upset because you've purposely done this so that there would not be a change, a change that the people apparently are desperately calling for. In other geopolitical news, Al Jazeera reports Israeli military kills 28 after Netanyahu signals Rafah invasion plan. At least 10 children among the dead as fears of an Israeli ground assault intensify in southern Gaza. The Israeli military has killed at least 28 Palestinians in strikes on Rafah immediately after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signaled that an invasion of the city in southern Gaza may be close. 3 air raids on residential homes in the Rafah area killed at least 28 people overnight into Saturday, according to a health official and the Associated Press journalist who saw the bodies arriving at hospitals. As I said in the last segment, there seems to be a common thread when I'm reporting these stories from around the world. And that common thread seems to be the casualty and the death of children. And I keep pointing that out because in each situation, from situation to situation, this is the common thread. So not only are the governments and the military, their military campaigns, through their military campaigns, not only is the casualty rate enormous, but the children among the dead is also enormous as well. But that's the common thread. And it seems like from situation to situation all around the world, it seems like this is being accepted. Different countries are divided. Whether you live in a democracy or you live under a dictatorship, no one will ever be able to control what's in the hearts and the minds of people. So whether people are in a situation where they can be outraged and they can speak out, or whether they're in a situation where they very well can't and they just have to hate it in their hearts. Nonetheless, you will never be able to control what's in the hearts and the minds of the people. And as I've said in a previous segment, this will always be unacceptable. This will never be accepted by those who are truly connected to the human race. In other geopolitical news, I'm on a YouTube platform, the Hindustan Times. They reported this about 9 hours ago. Hezbollah missiles burn Israeli Merkava tank, fresh strike after roaring rocket barrage. So I guess this is a video basically showing what happened between Hezbollah and Israeli forces. And I'm assuming that this was overnight. So as you can see, it looks like Hezbollah has targeted one of their tanks. And from what it looks like, um, it actually hit its target. As you can see, it says that tank was, its mighty tank was blown apart, as they tried to station themselves at a certain part of the border. So now they're saying that they don't know if Israeli troops were present inside of the tank at the time of the explosion, but they do know that the tank was targeted and that target was met. So you can see Hezbollah is just firing, you know, according to Israeli media, it says they fired 30 rockets. But I'm I'm inclined not to believe anything that Israeli media says. You understand? The same way that you know a nation can be targeted, their news media outlets can be targeted, and you can discount what they're saying. Case in point, being Al Jazeera News media outlet has been targeted. Their journalists have been targeted. Their infrastructure has been targeted. So I'm not inclined to believe anything that the Israeli media is propagating at this point. So they're saying that some of the rockets were shot down and some of the rockets actually landed in key areas in Israel. So I don't know what to think of this. As we said before, the Israeli government, for whatever reason, is not reporting the actual damages or anything as it results to what's happening inside of Israel. So we're really not receiving any information outside of what the major news media outlets want us to know, want us to hear. So there's really no way to tell how much damage is happening inside of Israel at this point. So the IDF is claiming to have killed a top Hezbollah official this month in February. I'm assuming that that was a couple of days ago, and I seen another video where there was an explosion. Seems to be either a drone attack or a car explosion, where one of the top leaders of Hezbollah was supposed to be. Apparently, yeah, that's exactly what they're contesting. They're contesting that an IDF drone is what struck the car, and the Hezbollah commander was killed on February 8th. So, no, I don't see an end to this conflict in sight. I don't see an end at all. Actually, I see what the American the American Western media, news media outlets, the American government, the military industrial complex, the allies of America did not want. And that was for this situation to widen, for this situation to spread. And they did not want a regional war. And it seems as time goes by, days and days go by, it seems like we're moving closer and closer to what they did not want. Follow Street Icon on those social media platforms. Right now, I'm on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. Available soon from the Street Icon Podcast Conspiracy Theory Series. There will be merchandise. Wherever you see this photo at, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you straight to the Street Icon channel on the YouTube platform. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know how you feel about these stories, exactly and specifically how they make you feel. Did you know about them? Drop a comment in the comment section and always remember, stay vigilant, stay safe, peace.